Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gul broadcasting to anyone who can still hear him. We're back with a bit of Surviving Mars. I carried on a little bit in your absence, as I suggested that I would do in the last episode. A couple of things have happened. I have completed a couple of additional water extractors. We've got that going. I made myself a water tower and a fuel refinery over here, just so I could get resources in. Now, some more research has also been conducted. As we can see, I've changed a lot of my research now in order to allow me, well, more colonists on a single rocket for one. Our breakthrough, which is the sustained workload, colonists under heavy workload perform better. Systematic training, which gives scientists and botanists better performance. Some productivity training, which gives engineers and geologists better performance. Now, why am I doing that? Why am I doing all of this social research in order to give ourselves better performance? Well, because I've decided it's about time that we have a dome. We've got a little bit of resources. We've got a fair amount of polymers and some electronics and machine parts. Not that much, but enough to justify a dome at this point, I feel. Now, I wanted to build a dome over here because I thought it would be a really beautiful place to do so. But our first dome, realistically speaking, it can't be there. I've had a good think about it, and I think it needs to be here in order for it to allow us to take advantage of the underground metals. The simple fact of the matter is, if we don't do that, we're not going to have a metal income, and that is going to cause problems to us down the road. And we don't want problems. Now, there are a couple of research pieces, or I should say scanning pieces, that I found during just kind of regular exploration. Our scientists believe that an anomaly may lead to a breakthrough, and there's another one up here. I wanted to do that on camera because I wanted to involve you guys. So I've waited off on those. There've been a couple of kind of little research blips which I've picked up in order to aid my research, but that's been about all otherwise. So without further ado, let's get on with the episode. Now, we need a dome, and we need it to be in a reasonable position, so let's have a think about exactly where we want that. I think about here is going to be fine. Okay, we're still paused, so I can work out the logistics of this. Now, with regards to pipes, we can either bring it down here, and then down here, or we can come down this way. I think because of the uneven terrain, as you can see here, this way is going to be better, so let's organise that. I think just in order to sort my borderline OCD out, we'll do it that way. In addition to that, we need some power to go to the dome, so let's organise that as well. I quite like the fact that things are a little bit spread out here, because it does mean that any meteor strikes are a little bit less pervasive and difficult for us. Okay, we could also do with a nice metal extractor somewhere around here. I think there's going to be about right. We're going to need storage for that, of course we are. So let's get a metal storage right here. I'm going to put a food storage right there as well, because we're probably going to need that early on. And a couple of dumping sites. We'll put those over here. Okay, that looks like everything that we need, and I believe our dome covers all of this, including the metal extractor. Yeah, it does. In fact, we kind of... I said dome then, didn't I? Our drone hub. We've got two of them that cover this area, so that should be ideal. Should. We'll find out the hard way if it's not. So, let's continue onwards. Now, we've got our little research drone over here, so let's go and take a look at that lovely thing. And I think we can go into fast mode. Okay, I'm relatively happy with this. I think this will do the job. In addition to that, we found that our concrete extractor, that ran out of concrete to extract. Built another one here. We do also have the capacity to make metal, make machine parts, make polymers, and indeed make electronics now. So we have the potential in the longer term to be self-sufficient. We've just completed low G turbines, that's quite useful. We're going to wait for some more social research to happen, because I think it's potentially going to be quite useful. I think I might just forget compact research engineering for a little while get the sustained workload, systemic training, and productivity training. The reason that I think I would like to do that is because I don't think I need too many colonists in the short term. We can send a couple of rockets up. That's not a bad thing. Okay, let's see. Is my little research bot there? Yes, it is. Good. And we've opened up a little bit more on the map. We can see we've got several deposits of rare metals, which I haven't really looked at so far. High quality up here, that's great. Average quality, that's fine. We've got more up here. Very low, we're not interested in that. And then we've got some more down here, which are average and high, okay. Well, it looks like that's potentially going to be the most interesting one. We might want a second dome right about here, and that's going to allow us... Ooh. Neural empathy. Unlocks the rare trait, empath. Empaths raise the morale of all colonists in the dome. The effect stacks with other empaths. The human brain has 100 billion neurons, each neuron connected to 10,000 other neurons. Sitting on your shoulders is the most complicated object in the known universe. That's super duper cool. Let's take that breakthrough. Because morale is just good times. We do need that. So I expect this is going to be the site of our second dome because it's going to allow us to take underground rare metals, which I believe is used in machine part production or electronics, can't remember which, and more standardized metals. And also it gives us close access to another underground water source. That's a little bit in the future, and it's very, very unlikely that we'll do that in this episode. In fact, I think it's probably fair to say that it quite simply won't happen in this episode. Let's grab our little drone, bring him over here, because we might get something else amazing from over here. Magnificent. Let's go into super duper fast mode. Okay, we can see that the resources are slowly trickling in for our dome. Are we in fast mode? Yes, we are. That's going to take a little bit of time because a lot of our drones are having to bring things from other areas in order to facilitate this. But they are doing it. They are doing it. Still a little bit bummed that tunnels don't allow drones to go through them. Because it meant I've had to build this big old chain. I think that's...
Cable fault reported.
Oh, good. Whereabouts is that? Okay. Oh, there we go. We've got a drone looking after it. That's fine. Yeah, if drones could go through tunnels, I'd be in for a much easier time. Okay, this fellow is ready to go and scan the other anomaly.
Sector scanned.
We've got a sector scanned, just a bit of concrete and a little bit of metal. Not exciting. Do this one next. And I think this one down here. There we go, 13 of 80, 18 of 20 and 10 of 10. So the polymers are there. It's just a matter of trying to get the concrete now, which evidently is taking a lot of time.
Cable fault reported.
Another...
Pipe leak reported.
Oh, good gravy. Come on, fix it up, guys. Perhaps, if I were to move this fine fellow to here, if I can get between these two resource sections, it may be that my drones choose to move some over here. So let's get her done.
Breakthrough discovered.
Oh! What have we got? Research Lab and Science Institute upgrade. Zero space computing, research points, production increased. Hello. Thinking outside the box, Martian mathematics have begun developing a new mathematical apparatus which will open doors to new scientific models and theories. I'd like that, but we'll see what these cause. There we go, let's just see. Yeah, it looks like we're just about in range, so we can start moving things around. That malfunctioning cable still... No, it's being fixed, that's fine. Let's ensure that our production is okay. Of course, we don't have any metals production, which is part of the reason that I'm focusing on this. Oxygen surplus is fine. Water is going to be fine for a goodly amount of time. I'm happy with our concrete production. Everything else isn't wonderful. But we've got enough stuff that we don't need to worry too hard in the short term. There we go. Our drones are doing what must be done. Concrete seems to be a bit of an issue for us, however. It's not really being dragged across. Maybe if I make a concrete depot, like right about here.
Sector scanned.
Alright. Let's take a look. Okay, we've got some more metals up there. Not the most interesting sector to have scanned, but there we are. There we go. Concrete is now being delivered here, which means it will get delivered to the dome a little bit faster. Look at him go! Is that a metals deposit? Okay. You can't quite get there, can you? No, of course you can't. Right, let's retrieve our explorer. We'll pop him kind of there, somewhere in the middle. Oh, good times are happening. I feel quite confident about this playthrough. I feel like I've broken the back of the initial problems. I might be totally wrong about it. Oh, we've nearly got the sustained workload breakthrough. Now, the sustained workload breakthrough is going to be good for us in two senses. Yes, it's going to be great for the fact that we are improving our colonists a lot. In addition to that, when we research, of course, we do gain a little bit of funding, but we gain extra funding when it's a breakthrough. Nice. Have I got any coffee left? Oh, I have. That's nice. Ooh. There we go. You're nice and sorted. Now, based on my calculations, I should have enough power, even with the dome and a few buildings in it. So what are you guys doing? Just generally causing trouble. Okay. We've got plenty of spread out resources here, here, over here, and over here. If a meteor impacts one of our resource segments, it means there's going to be less overall loss, which I like. We're now on Sol 30, so we're 30 days in, and yet we haven't got any colonists yet. Let's just take a look at our milestones. So here we are, we scanned an anomaly on Sol 1, launched a rocket from Mars on Sol 7, found water on Mars on Sol 6. The next thing that we expect to do is, of course, construct a dome. I expect to have that complete by probably Sol 31, and first human on Mars is likely also to be on Sol 31.
Pipe leak reported. Sector scanned.
Sector F7 is another disappointment. Oh well, that's the way of things. Perhaps over here will be interesting.
Research complete.
Ooh.
Milestone achieved.
Look at that! We're not expected to research a breakthrough for some time, and yet here we are researching breakthroughs like ballers. Look at all them. Look at all those points. Our difficulty bonus is only 185%. It's not that difficult. But we've researched sustained workload. I'm happy with that. I think battery optimization is going to be useful, so we will queue that. What battery optimization does is it extends the battery life of our drones by 50%. It means they can work a bit harder. Don't have to recharge quite as often. How's that pipe going? You sorted that out yet? Oh, there we go. That little fellow's doing it. Good. That little fellow. Love these leaning towers that they create. Find that quite terrifying. Oh, 74 of 80. We're nearly there. We are nearly there. We've nearly constructed our dome. Oh, ha, ha, ha. We're going to need to build a little bit of infrastructure inside the dome to ensure that we can accommodate our colonists, if nothing else. I think a farm is going to be useful. Further to the farm, I also expect that we're going to need a grocer and a diner. And of course the accommodation itself. And from there, I think that'll be fine. Oh, here we go. Yep, look, that's been produced as well. A metal factory. Here we go, it's constructing. Almost exactly on time for Sol 31. Okay, let's look at what we can build.
Milestone achieved.
We have achieved a milestone. Lovely. Okay, so let's look at dome and... we're going to take the standard living quarters, which is fine, within the dome. Now, there are a few things that we need in order to ensure that our citizens are well looked after. The first is a diner, because it gives them a little bit of their social needs. The second is a grocer, so they can buy food. It would be rude if we didn't do that. And the third
Cable fault reported.
would be an infirmary, to make sure that they stay
Anomaly
healthy.
found.
I think it might be nice if we just stick a little small garden over here as well. That's, at least in the short term, all that they technically need. So, let's see what we can do. Age groups, I don't want any seniors and I don't want any children because they can't work. That's no good to me. Specializations, I just want specializations if I'm honest. So we'll take that. Let's take a look at the perks. I would like sexy people, survivors, workaholics, absolutely. Got no geniuses, that's a shame. Composed is good. Religious and saints, yep, because they tend to improve morale. Not bothered about nerds or gamers at this point. We've got any other perks that might be useful to us? Hippies tend to be pretty good. Enthusiasts are good. Fit are good. And rugged are good. Okay, so if we just said no to flaws in general? No thank you. Got 22 matching colonists with no flaws, perks and specializations. What about quirks? See, I don't mind gurus. That's fine. Don't worry, they'll tell you. Oh dear. Love it. I don't understand why we wouldn't want vegans, because the vast majority of the food production that we have is going to be vegan friendly because it's from a farm. Oh, yes, a farm. There you go. Sometimes talking to myself does help. Why can't we build farms? I thought we'd researched that. Let's take a... Oh, that's not what I wanted. New building, farm. Yeah, we've definitely got it. So why can't we build a bleeding farm? What's going on here? It's because it's in life support, in spite of the fact that it goes in a dome. That's fine. There we go. That's what we need. Let's call our rocket in. Passenger rocket, please. Yes, yes. And launch. There are 12 passengers on board the rocket, but there's only space for 0 new colonists. Launch anyway, it'll be ready. Maybe. Got 3 of the 10 concrete required. Let's make you high priority. We've constructed a dome, we've achieved that milestone on Sol 30, so a little bit earlier than we expected. Well, the reason that we've made this high priority, in fact we're going to make that farm high priority as well, is because, well, 1, my colonists are going to need somewhere to live, and 2, they're going to need to eat. Yes, I know you've got no, workers, but you will. You will. There we go. My lovely accommodation has been produced. It actually looks quite nice, doesn't it? Very modern, very beautiful. That big old TV by the bed. No wonder they're all comfortable. Don't panic. Good advice. Okay, we've got the concrete going in. You see, it was fine. Nothing to worry about. Now, what's our funds looking like? 750 million at the moment. Are we close to another research? About halfway through, so not really close. Oh, hello, what's this? That's going to allow us to research more, and fortunately, there he is. Off you go, you can research that. I think that grants access to new technologies, so it gives us a greater facility for planning. Scans have detected some interesting readings that might help us discover new technologies, yes indeed. Shush passenger rocket, hint. Not interested in you. Ah, fantastic. Okay, farm. I don't want you producing that. I'd like you to produce soybeans, and potatoes. The reason that I want to do this is because soybeans increase the quality of the soil. It starts at 50%, so we'll go 60, 70, and this brings it down by 10%. So that'll go to 60, 70, 80, 70, 80, 90, and so on and so forth. So we'll do a few rounds with soybeans and potatoes. Well, once those rounds are over, ultimately we'll have the soil at 100% all the time. We'll remove one of the soybeans and it'll go 100% quality, 90% quality, 100% quality, 90%
Anomaly
quality.
analyzed.
Buildings not working, 4. Okay, there's one. There's another. Okay, so it's just things that need...
There's more to the barren environs of the
We've read this before, so we won't do again.
A veritable treasure trove of
Mars crowdfunding and sterling generators. That's pretty good. Mars crowdfunding received a one-time grant of 1,000 million in funding. I want that one-time grant, so we're going to put it somewhere. It's fairly low in the research tree, but we're going to need it. It's going to be really useful
Sector scanned.
if we start running out of things. Alright, let's get our first colonists on Mars. Are you ready, guys? I'm ready.
Full of hope and determination, the first founders have set foot on the Red Planet.
The next 10 sols will be full of difficulties and dangers, but also with great promises and opportunities. It is now to us to prove that Mars can be a doorway to greater riches and the future of human civilization. Even the most epic adventures begin with a single step. Effect: the arrival of additional colonists temporarily suspended until the colony proves able to sustain human life. Your founder colonists must survive for 10 sols before additional people can arrive. And we've got a little hint here as well. The colony will be evaluated positively before the period ends in the event that the first human is born on Mars. So if we start popping out babies, which is why I wanted the sexy trait, we can get more colonists in earlier. If you feel you're up to the challenge, try constructing a medical building and raising the comfort of the founders as much as possible with service buildings.
Milestone achieved.
Oh my, and we have our milestone. We're going to be producing food soon as well. I expect that we'll get that on something like Sol 34. I think it takes 4 days for things to happen. So yeah, I think this is... Oh, there they are!
Colonists have arrived.
Excellent. Very good colonists. Oh, you haven't got power. I'm such a fool. My. It's people like me, isn't it? Let's just see if we can connect it like so. Okay, so we're not gathering any exports, of course, because we haven't got any. Okay, let's take a look. Well, you're in the wrong workspace specialization. That's no good. How long does this take? Growth time 5 sols. Okay, so it'll be day 35. We've got 9 sols and 15 hours until our colony is evaluated, either positively or negatively. And if it's negatively, we'll have to start again, which should be no good at all. We've got power. That did work. Great. So we've got a work shift. We're going to start making metal. Everybody happy? Let's take a look at you. Simone Bruno. You're a founder, which means you're one of the first colonists to set foot on Mars, and you're also sexy. Good stuff. Okay, I'm happy with this. We've got food to keep us going. I think what I might like to do is... That's an early shift.
Complete.
I think this is also an early shift. So most people are going to be at work at this point in time. Let's turn the first shift off. for both the grocer and the diner, because everyone's going to want to eat at different times. That's going to free up a little bit of work for everyone else. I think that's probably the best. Oh, systemic training is here as well. What have we got here? The Earth-Mars Initiative increases the research provided by your sponsor by 100. 2 planets, 1 human race, sharing knowledge and coexisting within the solar system. I think we want that, don't we? Cost 2,000, but I think it's going to be very, very useful. Yeah, anything that increases the speed of our research is just wonderful.
Cable fault reported.
Oh dear, whereabouts is this? That's fine, they'll be able to fix that. And there we have it, we're now producing metals at a rate of 3.1 a day. Let's take a look at what things are costing us. So, if we're making 3.1 metals a day, of course, that's going to be absolutely fine because we're only using 1.8 a day. Concrete production, it far outstrips everything. Now, food consumption is incorrect. Let's take a look. 0.4, 0.6, 1.1. I think that's lagging behind. We'll have to wait another sol. What's not working? Apparently nothing is not working. That's fine. Oh, close this. Rocket's ready to leave. Alright. See you next time you arrive. Now, I think that is as good a time as any to... oh, look, the crops are growing. How lovely.
Resources are low.
Resources are fine.
Sector scanned.
Look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we've got loads of food. In fact, we've got one up here as well for some reason. Don't worry about the resources. We're doing fine. Look at that. We've got our soybeans producing. No problemo, chiefo. Stop your worrying, jock. But yes, this is as good a place as any to leave it. So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I noticed that the views are a little bit low on this. I'm a little bit surprised, considering it's the sci-fi content that you guys traditionally enjoy. If you do enjoy it, and you want me to carry on the series, which I want to do, make sure that you comment. Drop a like on the video, because that helps immensely anyway. It does lead to potentially more views from outside my usual circle of watchers. And drop me a comment. Talk to me. Tell me what you think I should do. If you've played Surviving Mars, you're probably going to be immensely useful to me because I'm a beginner. Let me know what you think I should be doing. Tell me if you think this is the right configuration for my early colonists. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you there. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you so much for supporting Gul Survives.
But to look your enemy in the eye, knowing you'll remember his face for the rest of your life, now that takes a stomach much stronger than you'll ever have.